What if I told you that right now your shoulder is not frozen because of arthritis, not because of an old injury, and not because of age? What if the real reason you cannot lift your arm past your waist, cannot reach behind your back, cannot sleep on that side without waking up in pain, is something happening inside a small capsule of tissue around your shoulder joint that no one has ever taken the time to explain to you? That is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you up. Because here is what I see happen in my clinic over and over again. Someone comes in, 65, maybe 72 years old. Their shoulder has been stiffening for months. They go to their doctor and hear the same things. Rest it. Take some anti-inflammatories. It will probably sort itself out. So they go home and wait. And while they wait, the stiffness gets worse, the range of motion gets smaller, and eventually they stop reaching for things, adjusting their entire life around one shoulder no one ever properly explained. I am Dr. Adrian Fairborn. Today, I am going to tell you exactly what is happening inside that shoulder joint in plain terms. Then I am going to walk you through 8 movements you can do at home with no equipment in less than 15 minutes a day. People over 60 who follow a consistent daily approach often see meaningful improvement within 4 to 6 weeks. Not back to age 30, but back to reaching the shelf, sleeping through the night, dressing without wincing. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. I am Dr. Adrian Fairborn, and I have spent over 2 decades working with adults in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. I created this channel because the information that genuinely changes people's lives in my clinic should not stay locked inside it. I have watched frozen shoulder become one of the most mismanaged conditions in older adults because no one explains what is actually happening. When people understand the real mechanism, they stop waiting and start doing the things that actually help. So what is actually happening inside a frozen shoulder? Your shoulder joint is surrounded by a structure called the joint capsule. Think of it like a soft, flexible bag that wraps around the entire joint and holds the lubricating fluid that lets your shoulder move freely. In a healthy shoulder, that capsule is loose and spacious, with plenty of give. Now here is what happens after 60, and this is the part most people are never told. When the shoulder is held still for extended periods, whether because of pain, an old injury, or simply because daily life no longer asks you to raise your arms overhead, that capsule begins to shrink. The medical term is adhesive capsulitis. Adhesive because the walls of the capsule begin to stick together. Capsulitis because the capsule becomes inflamed and contracted. The walls thicken, stiffen, and adhere to each other. Resistance when you lift. Pain at the end of every movement. That hard stop that was not there before. Research published in the Journal of Shoulder and Elbow Surgery found that adhesive capsulitis affects approximately 5% of adults overall, but that rate climbs sharply after 60, with women in their 60s and 70s most commonly affected. Without targeted intervention, average natural recovery takes between 2 and 3 years. That is the cost of passive waiting. But that capsule responds to slow, consistent, gentle movement that tells the tissue it is safe to open, safe to soften, safe to let go. That is exactly what these 8 movements are designed to do. Movement 1. The pendulum swing. We begin here because this is the safest way to start moving a frozen shoulder. When you lean forward and let your arm hang freely, gravity decompresses the shoulder joint. The weight of your arm gently creates space between the ball and the socket. In that decompressed position, your arm can move without your brain registering the motion as a threat. Stand next to a sturdy table and lean forward from the hips, placing your good hand flat on the surface for support. Let the affected arm hang straight down. Using a small, gentle rocking of your body, allow the arm to swing forward and back. 10 swings, then side to side, 10 more, then small circles, 10 clockwise, 10 counterclockwise. Start no larger than a dinner plate. If there is pain, make them smaller. Do this morning and evening. Movement 2. The doorframe chest stretch. Most people with a frozen shoulder compensate by rounding the upper back and pulling the chest inward. Over months, this tightens the muscles at the front of the chest, and those tight chest muscles pull the shoulder blade forward and down, compressing the shoulder joint from the front. You cannot restore shoulder range of motion without addressing the chest. Stand in a doorway and place your forearm flat against the doorframe with your elbow bent to 90 degrees and your hand pointing upward. Gently step 1 foot through the doorframe so your body rotates slightly away from the arm. You should feel a slow, deep opening sensation across your chest and the front of the shoulder. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds. Breathe slowly, never a sharp pull. Step back to release, rest 10 seconds, and repeat 3 times on the affected side. If you are still watching and finding these helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you are with me. Now, here is where it becomes really important, because the next movement targets the part of the shoulder capsule responsible for the most frustrating limitation of all, the one that stops you from reaching behind your back. Movement 3. The towel internal rotation stretch. The back of your shoulder capsule and the muscles responsible for internal rotation are almost always the tightest part of a frozen shoulder. This is why reaching behind your back to tuck in a shirt or fasten a button becomes so difficult. Take a standard bath towel folded lengthwise into a long strap. Hold one end with your good hand over your head and behind you. Reach behind with the affected arm and grasp the lower end. Now gently use the good arm to pull upward on the top of the towel, drawing the affected arm upward and inward behind your back. You should feel a mild pull deep in the back of the affected shoulder. Hold for 10 seconds. Release slowly. Repeat 5 times. Never pull until it burns. A burning sensation causes your nervous system to increase protective guarding, which is the opposite of what we need. Movement 4. The wall walk. This is one of the safest ways to expand your ability to lift the arm in front of your body, the motion you need for reaching a shelf or putting on a jacket. Research published in Physical Therapy Journal found that active assisted range of motion work produced significantly better long-term outcomes than passive stretching alone in adults over 60 with adhesive capsulitis. Stand facing a wall about an arm's length away. Place the fingertips of the affected arm against the wall at about waist height. Slowly walk your fingers up the wall until you feel clear resistance. Hold for 5 seconds. Walk back down slowly. Rest 20 seconds. Repeat 4 times. The goal is to find where your restriction begins and gently work at that edge every single day. Most people see their mark moving higher within 10 to 14 days of consistent practice. But the movements you have seen so far only address half the problem. What I am about to show you now is the part most people skip entirely, and it is the part that protects you from the shoulder freezing back up once it finally starts to open. Movement 5. Supported external rotation. External rotation is the motion of turning your arm outward, away from your body. Think of the motion of cracking open a door when your elbow is pinned at your side. This is one of the very first ranges of motion to disappear in a freezing shoulder, and one of the last to return. Without it, your shoulder cannot position itself correctly for any task above shoulder height. Sit in a firm, upright chair. Place a small rolled towel underneath the affected arm between your elbow and your ribs. With your elbow bent at 90 degrees, hold a light object in your hand. A filled water bottle works perfectly. Now slowly rotate your forearm outward, keeping your elbow gently anchored against the towel roll. Move only as far as you can without pain. Hold for 3 seconds. Return slowly. Do 8 repetitions. Rest 1 minute. Complete a second set. Movement 6. Scapula setting. Here's a piece of this puzzle almost never mentioned when people discuss frozen shoulder. The shoulder blade has to move correctly for the shoulder joint itself to move correctly. When the shoulder is painful and guarded, the muscles that stabilize the shoulder blade switch off. And when the shoulder blade cannot move smoothly as the arm rises, the joint hits a mechanical ceiling well before it reaches its full range. Sit or stand with your arms relaxed at your sides. Without shrugging your shoulders upward, gently draw both shoulder blades back and slightly downward, as if squeezing a pencil between them and sliding it toward your lower back. Hold for 5 seconds. Feel the muscles between your shoulder blades engage. Release slowly. Do 15 repetitions. Rest 30 seconds. Repeat for a second set. Movement 7. The sleeper stretch. A study published in the American Journal of Sports Medicine found this movement particularly effective at addressing posterior capsule tightness, which is the primary restriction in most frozen shoulders after 60. Lie on your side with the affected shoulder underneath you. Your affected arm should extend straight out in front of you at shoulder height. Elbow bent at 90 degrees, forearm pointing toward the ceiling. Using your other hand, gently push the forearm of the affected arm downward toward the bed, rotating the shoulder inward. You should feel a deep stretch at the back of the shoulder. Hold for 20 seconds. Release slowly. Rest 10 seconds. Repeat 4 times. If lying on the affected shoulder is too uncomfortable, place a thin pillow beneath it. Do this in the evening when the tissue is warm and more receptive. Movement 8. Supported overhead reach. This is the final movement in the sequence and the one that most directly rebuilds your ability to reach upward. Lie flat on your back on a firm bed or mat. Hold a lightweight cane or walking stick in your affected hand. Use your other hand to grip the same object partway along to support the affected arm. Now slowly raise both arms together up and over your head, toward the floor behind you. Because your good arm is helping carry the weight, the affected shoulder experiences elevation, without the full muscular load that standing movements require. Move as far overhead as comfortable. Hold 5 to 10 seconds. Return slowly. Repeat 6 times. Over weeks, you will notice your good arm doing less of the supporting work. That shift is the clearest sign of real progress. Important warning. Before you begin this routine, I need to stop and speak to you directly. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not medical advice and not a substitute for a conversation with your own doctor or a qualified physiotherapist. It is not a reason to push through sharp pain or ignore new symptoms without professional guidance. If your shoulder pain came on suddenly after a fall or a known injury, please see your doctor before starting any movement routine. What you are dealing with may not be adhesive capsulitis. It may be a rotator cuff tear or another condition that requires a completely different approach. If you have had shoulder surgery within the past year, or if your doctor has told you to keep the shoulder immobilized, speak to your medical team before beginning this routine. For everyone, please honor the word gentle. The shoulder capsule does not respond to force. It responds to consistency. If any movement causes sharp pain, numbness down the arm, or a significant increase in your usual discomfort, stop immediately and consult your doctor. Here is your full daily plan. Every morning, begin with the pendulum swings, then the door frame chest stretch, then the wall walk. These 3 take under 8 minutes. During the afternoon, work through the towel internal rotation stretch and the supported external rotation. Every evening, finish with the scapular setting, the sleeper stretch, and the supported overhead reach. The full daily routine takes approximately 15 minutes every single day. Every session sends a signal to that tissue saying it is safe to stay open. Track progress once a week by reaching behind your back with the affected arm. Over time, you should feel that point moving higher, the resistance softening, and the discomfort gradually shifting from pain to a feeling of stretch. A frozen shoulder is one of the most isolating things a person can experience because it is invisible. Nobody can see it. Nobody understands why you wince getting dressed, why you stopped reaching for the high shelf, or why you wake up stiff every morning. It narrows your world in quiet ways that are hard to explain. But the shoulder that is stiff today is not permanently frozen. The capsule that has tightened is not made of stone. It is living tissue that responds to the right input. What I have shown you today is a protocol built on physiology and on what I have watched work for real people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. People who were told to rest it and found that resting only made it worse. Start today with just the first 2 movements. The pendulum swings and the door frame stretch. Do them this morning. Tomorrow, add the wall walk. Give your body 3 to 5 days to adjust before adding the next exercise. If you know someone quietly reducing their life around a painful shoulder, please share this video with them. I have made a dedicated video on safe upper body strengthening for adults over 60 that pairs with today's routine. That video is on your screen right now. Click it and I will walk you through it step by step. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, please comment with 0. Your feedback matters. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here is to living on your own terms.